Well, hello there and welcome to In Mel's Mind. And today, what's in Mel's mind is this amazing new Canva feature that I cannot get enough of. So if you haven't heard the news, Canva is now allowing you to create mockups, your very own mockups inside of Canva. Why does this matter? Because mockups allow your audience to understand what they're going to get in a tangible, real way. So when you show off your property website, when you show off your lead magnet, when you show off your seller guide or buyer guide or any of those things, when you pop it into a mockup, meaning one of these photorealistic representations of it, people feel more connected to it immediately and are more likely to want it. So today I'm going to show you how you can create your own. So they're completely your own using Canva and ChatGPT. So let's start at the beginning. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to find some inspiration, because I don't know about you, but I can't just go into ChatGPT and say, hey, Chat, can you create an image of a mockup that looks really good? And then it's going to create something pretty much like you see in the Canva library. We want to be specific here. We want it to be on brand. We want it to feel like it belongs in our brand. And so how do we do that? First, we find inspiration. And here's my number one trick for doing that. I head to the Elements tab and I type in aesthetic, whatever it is I want. So let's say living room. And I always use the word aesthetic in front because it just gives you, for me personally, it's more on brand and it's more elevated photos. Let's make it more specific. Aesthetic laptop on couch. Here we go. So I'm going to use this as inspiration so that I know what to tell ChatGPT. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head to ChatGPT and I'm going to, under the tools section, I'm going to select create an image and then I'm going to describe my image. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to dictate. I have an easier time actually dictating rather than typing it out. So I'm going to click record and I'm going to say, create a photo with a laptop on a couch. The couch is going to be a little bit beigey, a little bit gray. We want this couch to be in a dark room and the only source of light is from the window, but it's not a lot of light. We're seeing a lot of shadows. We're seeing the shadow from the window against the wall. It's very aesthetic, kind of moody, very elegant, very sophisticated. And this is very important. The screen on the laptop has to be white. Okay, so here it is creating that image. Let's see what happens. That's pretty close to what was there. It's a little darker than I would like. So we can go in here and we can ask Chat to edit. We can say, can you just make it a little bit less dark? That's a little bit too moody. A little too moody. Can you make it slightly brighter? Wow, guys, does that look eerily similar? That is so cool. Okay, so I'm going to download that and then we're going to bring it into Canva. Okay, so that's the original and that is the one that we've created. That's eerie. I've never had something that's this similar before. And all I did was describe it. So if you're not somebody who is very good at coming up with your own imagery, and you absolutely can, you don't need to use this trick. This is just my trick. I'll look for aesthetic photos and not always on Canva. I'll go to other stock photo sites and look for inspiration, like look for photos that I absolutely love that I wish I could use as a mock-up. And then I'll just scribe it to ChatGPT. It's never this close, but I kind of like that it's not close because then actually like all my own, this kind of feels like it almost copied this photo, but it's different enough. So once you have your creation, you're going to pop it into Canva and then we're going to click on edit. And from here, we're going to scroll down to mockups, click on mockups. And right at the top here, you see this cool button that says create a mockup template. So we're going to let Canva do its magic and then it's going to give you some options. And obviously we don't want these two. This one's the closest to what we want. We're going to confirm that. And there it is. It's a little wonky, but let's see what it looks like once we pop our photo in place. So now what we want is we just want to grab a listing photo. So let's say this one and voila, we have our listing photo inside of our mockup and you can change that as many times as you want. Then the last thing you're going to do is just add all of your text. I've already created it on that other post. So I'm just going to bring it over here and then I'm just going to cheat a little bit and put the website on there. What you can do is you can actually take a screenshot of the actual website, which is going to work a lot better than this. But also sometimes if you want your text to be more legible, so let's say that you create the mockup, pretty, everything's great, but you're having a hard time reading the text that you add after. A good trick is to just reduce the transparency. So I'm going to move this out of the way, change the background color to black. And when we reduce the transparency of that mockup, all of a sudden now we can see all the text much more clearly. And that is it. That's how you create a mockup using ChatGPT and Canva. If you loved this, let me know in the comments below so I can create more content like this for you. And thank you so much for watching In Mel's Mind. I'll speak to you next time. Bye.